Next on the agenda is the update to release and gathering dates. We have some holidays in June and July that just happen to coincide with some of our big dates. So the next release to production was currently scheduled for Juneteenth, Wednesday, and we didn't want to release on a holiday. Nobody wants, getting any kind of calls or any new things on a holiday when nobody's in the library. So we did decide to delay that for a week. So we will be releasing to production on 6/26. We will still keep the release to test tonight though. So yay, bonus. You saw all of those things that Mark showed. We actually get an extra testing week there too. So not a terrible thing. Not something we'll do all the time, but did want to avoid that holiday. The next Aspen gathering was currently scheduled for July 4th. Also a holiday. Don't expect to see many of you there. So we will move that one a week as well. We didn't want to get in this habit of moving all of the dates. So we will keep the release to test and the release to production, those same dates. But you might be thinking, how am I supposed to test if I don't know what's in the new release? Mark and I will be doing a quick little video that we'll post in Slack, kind of like a mini version of updates in an instant. So you'll still know what's coming out with that release. So you can test it for that full time. We just won't have the meeting for everyone. Okay, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and let me see, share my screen so we can get into all the Zoom windows in the way. We can get into our planning. So for the planning, priority, and review, this is the part of the meeting where we talk about what we said we were going to do for this release and our plans for the next release. So this is what we planned for 2406. We originally said that we wanted to ungroup the Young Readers edition from the regular editions at the same time that we did the grouping for the graphic novels and e-comics. Once we rolled that out, we started getting feedback and we know all of the different library data, and a lot of that prompted some of the things that you saw with Mark, and we're like, let's not introduce another change. Let's make sure everyone is good with this so we don't start to have some confounding reports, just to make sure that's good before we do a new change to the same part of the code. So we decided to postpone that one. If you look on the right under that one, indexing and grouping updates, this directly came out of that grouping work. So kind of instead of doing the young readers, we decided to make diagnosing the grouping things a higher priority to make it easier on all of you and on all of us for support tickets. So that's what we did instead. We always do our partner priorities and high priority bugs. Those are typically our top priorities. One other thing that we got that we weren't necessarily thinking would be as good as it was, but ended up being a feature that we thought lots of people would like, is the side load support for the physical materials that Mark showed you with Gail Borden. So excited about that. The community priority from back in March, the new features for older e-content integrations, we got some of that done. We might continue working on that. I don't know that I'm going to call it out explicitly. It's more part of the partner priorities. It'll kind of roll up under there unless we do something bigger. Kind of working with the community right now on where those priorities actually are. Tara did an exercise at the last community meeting, and one of the overdrive things came down lower. So I think, not that we won't work on it, but we're not going to be like, oh, we have this big initiative to do this thing. E-commerce updates, we have one very close new key e-commerce integration and then another one coming after that. So that's ongoing. And then as Mark showed you with the accessibility fixes, again, we're accessible. We're just trying to make things better and try to make these little tweaks. We actually had an offer from a family member of one of our partner libraries to use Aspen as an example for like a class or a seminar that they're teaching in accessibility, and we get feedback from them and they learn from us. So we're just going to ride this train and make sure that we, any little suggestion, we want to make it as accessible as possible. And then part of that, the big thing that we got is the better accessibility for browse categories that Mark showed you. Okay, so that's all the stuff that you've seen. That was a lot. That was probably one of our longest updates in an instant. So we're going to pull back a little bit this month and have a little bit of a smaller release. And we're going to have a little bit of a shorter release too, because we moved those release dates. So of course, we're going to do the partner priorities and the high priority bugs, the e-commerce updates and the accessibility that we just talked about. We're going to continue working on all of those things. We do have a library that really just for their basic functionality needs Sierra self-registration. This is also something that came up at the recent Sierra group that we're really excited is starting. So I don't know that we're going to get a chance to start this. We'll probably start it. I doubt that we'll finish it. So I put it in there kind of as a stretch goal to do self-registration for Sierra, like we did for Symphony recently. And then a bigger project that's in the planning phases right now, again, definitely won't be released next time, but I don't know if we'll have started coding on it or not, or have anything for you to see, but I want you to be aware that it's happening, is the LIDA notifications for account notices in Koha. So what this means is that if a patron has LIDA, when they have a hold ready at the library, they can get an app notification. I mentioned this is going to be a big project because how this will work needs to be coded separately for every different ILS. So we're starting with Koha because it's open source. We have the transparency there. It's a lot easier for us to test. But you'll see those start to roll out later this year. Again, this is going to be like multi-month project. I am going to check the chat to see if there's any questions. And I don't see any on our updates. So I'll go ahead. I think I have the next agenda item as well. We announced this in the app channel within Slack, but we just wanted to talk about the new minimum operating system requirements for LIDA. So basically, the Apple App Store came out with these new privacy manifest requirements that caused a cascade of updates that needed to happen in order to be in compliance, or we couldn't, publish new versions of that. So what we're saying today is that as of the next release, or more or less as of now, our minimum version operating system for phones and tablets is Android 12. Android 11 and earlier users will receive a notice of our intent to stop the updates. And I'll show you a screenshot of that on the next page. Officially, iOS 16 is what we're going to be supporting. I will tell you verbally, we can't promise that we can support iOS 15. But we're going to try to see if we can. We are still getting a few reports of other crashes from.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just watching a thing.
I'm just going to go ahead and, okay. We are getting a few reports of some crashing happening in 16 and 17 that we're investigating. We are by far not the only app in this circumstance. It kind of came up quickly on Apple's side. And I'm going to, actually, I'll go ahead and show you the screenshot next. So this is what will happen on Android devices. You will get this notification if you're on Android 11 or earlier that says your version of Android is no longer supported. Please upgrade to continue receiving updates to this app. And it will then, go out of service. It will not work as well as it did. And that message, if you're not happy with the language there, is translatable. I do want to I'm checking the chat. We love LIDA notifications, so do we. Do we have a link to that directive from Apple? Miranda posted it. It's also, this deck is also posted in the agenda if you want it. And I agree, it was a little bit of a surprise. Everyone has kind of been left scrambling to fix because so many people use these same components and are in the same situation. So I'm gonna pause one more time just because I know that there was some concern about this to make sure we don't have any other questions. All right, I will stop sharing then. Yeah, and Steve says he has a few reports of it not working on supported versions. Yeah, we do. We are aware of a few with 16 and 17, iOS that is. It's just incredibly difficult to diagnose because it tends to be operating system, phone dependent. It can be a lot of things. And with this particular type of thing, the way the app is crashing, we don't get diagnostic information. So really, it's very difficult to reproduce for us. But there are lots of people working on this. That's the great thing, that other people are posting fixes for some of these issues. So we can kind of rely on the collective knowledge of the internet since everybody's kind of having these bugs. Steve says, clues on what to look for. If it is this issue, I can tell you it is essentially crashing before the app even loads, which is why we can't get diagnostic information. I'm going to call on Kirsten. Is there any other information we can give them?
No, I don't think we found any sort of pattern yet on the devices. It just seems very random.
Yeah. if we do identify patterns or any additional information we have, we'll put it in the app channel in Slack. So definitely watch there for updates. And I think we're good to hand it off to Mark.
Can I jump in with a quickie on that?
Yeah.
Just really, when I ask about that, I'm wondering about like, are there potential app conflicts? Like, are there weird things we should look for on people's devices or something like that that we might look for and report to you? Yeah, just wondering about the oddball stuff since I know you're not able to get the debugging information.
Kirsten, I'm going to let you chime in on that one. Is there anything other than the standard, like device, operating system, I guess Lita version, Miranda
just,
2? Yeah.
yeah, just the app version, iOS version, type of device, just the regular stuff.
Right, yeah, I would reiterate that as well. I will say something that like I've seen recently is like reports, like mixed reports on like same device, same operating system. One app working, one not. So like, yeah, even patterns that we thought we were finding are like not applicable. So any information you can give us related to people reporting in is helpful. And it
Well,
would be basic stuff.
we have some of that, like same device, same OS, and that's why I asked for like, if that's the case, one's working, one's not, what can we look for that might help you?
Anything with memory, Kirsten? I'm asking, I'm not stating, I'm
No,
asking. Yeah.
no. That would all be given to us by device with the device information because that's all standardized.
So you can see why it's tricky for us to figure this one out. All right. I think we're good.
Okay. We are working on a server migration. We're updating some operating systems and actually migrating to a new operating system over the next month or so. We're going to be starting with our test servers, and those are starting next week. We're going to plan to do all of the test servers from June 10th through the 14th. We know that this is also testing week due to the new release. So if there is a time when you know that you are going to be doing dedicated testing, please let us know so that we don't do your upgrade during that. So if you were scheduling internal testing or something for the morning of June 11th, let us know that. We do need to do it that week though, just so that we get it done. So please don't say, hey, we are doing testing the whole week. We do need some time to do that. If you do have a time that doesn't work, please put in a ticket and we'll just keep track of those that way. Implementation servers then will start June 12th through the 21st. We are working with Morgan and Cal to make sure that those aren't going to interfere with any of your implementations and any training that they're doing. If there is time though when you are planning to do some internal work on your implementation server, please let us know as well. Make sure Cal and Morgan know or put in a ticket so that if you're planning to do like an internal staff training or something, or have everybody look at something internally, let us know. And we'll do that. Production servers, we're still working on the exact schedule. We are planning to start those no sooner than June 17th. We will plan to, or actually, we will plan to have a plan published by June 17th. We will be communicating that as many ways as we can. And we will make sure that you have at least a week before the server is migrated so that you know when it's going to happen. We don't expect there to be a major impact. Our expectations are that there might be a teeny bit of downtime as we move things. We're actually moving between servers, and a potential little bit longer time in offline mode. So we will work on communicating exactly what's going to happen in those communications then starting the 17th. And then if communications come out the 17th, expect that things wouldn't start until the 24th at the earliest. So yeah, any questions on that, or we can move on to Jordan.
Yeah, just a quick note. We had a new developer start on the Aspen team, Catherine Purdue. Yay! We are so excited to have her. She already has fixes that are going into Aspen for the next release. Super impressive. And she's also going to be backing up Kirsten, which means that's really great for Lita, in addition to doing work on discovery. So yay, welcome, Catherine. We're so happy to have you here. And I'll hand it to Morgan.
All right. So I wanted to welcome our new Aspen partners, or I guess partner. We have most recently had Williamson County Public in Tennessee go live. I have linked their site in the agenda. Here it is. It looks very pretty. So everyone welcome Williamson County. They are a Koha library. So we already supported them with Koha, and they decided to switch over to Aspen for their catalog. So we don't have any Lita go lives recently, but there are many in the works. So I expect next gathering we'll be able to announce some of those. I'm gonna also plug Aspen Academy again. So we recently had our last one for kind of the beginning of the year. It was about Lita administration. So definitely, if you weren't already aware, we have put up the offerings for Aspen Academy for the rest of the year. So feel free to go there, view what's coming up, sign up for things, the permissions and other specific things that we like to add with documentation. Those will be updated on those pages soon, definitely before the sessions occur. And if you're missing where the link is, because on the Help Center, the Aspen Academy was like big on the front page for a while. So it's not gone. You can still always get to the Aspen Academy under, we actually renamed the first menu link on the Help Center to resources, just to more clearly indicate that this is where you click to find resources such as continuing education and marketing materials and all that good stuff. So the Aspen Academy link is on the Help Center under the resources link. All right, I'm going to pass it on to Kate with an AspenCon update.
Thanks, Morgan. Our main update is that we're really getting closer to choosing our location and precise date. So I'm really hoping that our next gathering will be able to announce at least one of those factors. First, also thank you to our planning community for your planning committee for the contribution. You can join us. There is still time and everybody is welcome. Our next meeting will be on Wednesday, June 12th at 9 a.m. Central, 10 Eastern. I did post a link to the community website. There's a calendar there. So the Zoom invite is right there. So no need to announce yourself. You can just join us and we'll be happy to see you there. And I'll pass it over to Tara.
Hey everyone. I'm gonna share our next community meeting agenda in the chat. At the last meeting, we went through partner priorities, tickets, bugs, to try to give some things that kind of community bump and let developers know what folks were kind of higher on their priority list versus others. So those top 5 things were a customizable order for your formats within the grouped works, showing copies and holds for titles if there's kind of a low number of copies, like 1 or 2. Right now you don't see those at all. Some bugs with subject author series links on certain pages, some special accented character issues, and then masquerade mode improvements. So you could log in the middle of a search and masquerade as a patron and go ahead and like place that hold without getting having to go to their account, sort of interrupting that service flow. So we'll talk a little bit more about those priorities at the next meeting. Keep talking about accessibility for Aspen and lots of other fun stuff. So we hope to see you at that next meeting. It will be on July the 16th. And I will pass it over to who is next? Jordan.
Yep. So last time we did a poll, we said we wanted to have an Aspen developer community meeting. So we did a poll and the best time. Those poll results came out. So the winner of the time when the most folks could come was the second Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern. So our first meeting will do July 9th. You can check out that community calendar that several folks have linked to already. A shout out on the community site. We do have a new community section where all of the information is in that calendar. That calendar does still live on the homepage. We might be making some changes to the homepage, but you can always find that calendar under that community section. And then right below that, I'm next on the agenda as well. There's a list of all of our community groups as well as the dates for their next meeting. Again, you can find the Zoom links and everything you need on the community calendar. So if you weren't aware of those groups and one looks interesting to you, please, please, please come join us. And I will hand it over to Elise to talk about outreach.
Okay, just real quick, we are going to be at the ALA conference at the end of the month. We are so excited. So we hope to see some of you there. We're really excited because we are doing our real users, real perspective sessions again. And if any of you are going and interested in participating, it's where we have our partners come and talk about how they're leveraging Aspen. So we would love for you to come do that. If you're interested, you get like the VIP treatment from us. So just email outreach@bywatersolutions.com if you are interested. And then also we are having our party on a Saturday night at Fairweather Rooftop Bar. It's going to be fun. And if that wasn't enough, we're doing a fun run this year, Monday morning at 7 a.m. Meet at San Diego Bayfront Park. Hope to see you there. That's it for me. Thanks so much.
So thanks, Elise. All right. So wow, that was kind of a speed run there, but we made it through everything on the agenda. There's a few minutes left. Does anyone have any other questions or comments or anything? Okay. Well, we look forward to hearing your feedback for those of you who are going to be able to get in and do some testing. Definitely submit tickets, comments, anything that you have with any of the new features. And yeah, I guess that's it for today.